BOTA chapters for keeping everyone informed. And thank you to Judge Small and Judge Bailey for being here this morning. I think everybody is doing an incredible job in these unprecedented times. Also, the attorneys for stepping up to the plate and wanting to keep the wheels of justice moving. I know that the BOTA, all the chapters, you guys have done a tremendous job. This is the 4th Friday in a row that you have done these meetings. I have attended the meetings. You guys are doing a fantastic job moving this forward during these times. So thank you to all of you. Again, the judges and the attorneys are a fabulous IT people here at the 17th Judicial Circuit, not only stepping up to the plate, but hitting it out of the park day after day. I mean, you guys really, I've had multiple hearings. Everything is going really, really well. And thank you to everybody for working through this. I just wanted to share some stats with you. As of yesterday, here are some Zoom stats. We've had a total of 1,200 Zoom hearings in the 17th Judicial Circuit with 13,771 participants. That's pretty incredible.
Awesome.
Just a month ago, think about it. A month ago, we didn't even have Zoom hearings. So in the past month, 1,200 hearings, 13,771 participants. And for those of you guys that know me, you know how I love to give the stats. So I have in Circuit Civil, which I know most of you are interested in, we have held well over 1,000 UMC, CMC hearings telephonically, and some have gone to the video conference to holding these by Zoom. And a lot of us were talking yesterday, and we're going to move to Zoom for UMC beginning next week or the week thereafter. We have held over 300 special set hearings, again, just in Circuit Civil at this point. All should be by Zoom by now, unless the attorneys request to attend telephonically, then I'll do it. You know, we try to work around it, but all of the hearings are going to Zoom. With regards to the link, most of you all know that, but if you go to the judge's procedures, you can go and each judge has the link for Zoom that you just click on and then you're automatically in. And as Judge Small said, we are also doing evidentiary hearings. I know, I think Judge Frink talked yesterday, he had done a non-jury trial. Also, you can request, in accordance with the administrative order, for rulings on the pleadings. We're e-signing orders. You just upload them to CMS, as you always have done, except now it's more important that you upload all of the orders to CMS and not send anything in, because just about everybody is working remotely. But if you send it and upload it to CMS, we can click it and you'll have it back as soon as the clerk's office lets it go through the path. Again, the JAs, the judicial assistants, have really stepped up to the plate. They're receiving a lot of emails each day and phone calls and returning those phone calls. And they're working and they're scheduling the hearings. So if you guys, as Judge Small said, and I can't impress upon it even more, we do not have these jury trial weeks right now. So this is a unprecedented time. If you want to get your special set, you know how usually, oh, I can't get it set till June or July or August. What's going on? Now is the time. Now is the time to set those special sets. Please take advantage of it. And please also, some of the judges wanted me to also let you guys know, if you have a hearing special set or even a UMC, please don't cancel it because we're doing it by video conference or telephonically. Really, this is the time to get your hearings heard. And on behalf of your clients, I mean, you have an obligation to your clients to schedule these hearings and have these hearings go forward. Really, everyone needs to get used to this technology. It's easy to use. It's the future. And your client needs to you to continue to prosecute their case. Uh, the virtual mock trial that we've talked about, I think I talked about it the second Friday that you all had this, and I think Chief Judge Tudor talked about it last Friday. But we have been meeting, and I want to thank the committee that's worked so hard on this. And we also have the staff attorneys are going to be playing the parts of plaintiff counsel, defense counsel, and expert witnesses, and the plaintiff and the defendant. And we will be going to production on the virtual mock trial next week. So by the end of next week, we should have it recorded, and we should have it up on our website, on the 17th Judicial website. So we just want to give you guys an idea of what we're working on, and we're continuing to work to, again, move this forward and get as much as we can get done, and looking into the future as well, because this is not going to go away even when the courthouse gets back to normal. This is the future. And isn't it nice? I mean, I'm looking around at some of the screens. It's pretty nice to be able to attend court in a t-shirt and a hat, or in just a button-down shirt or something like that, and not having to get in your car, find a parking space, and come up the elevator. This is really, I think, the more you all use this, again, like Judge Small said, even people who consider themselves or call themselves dinosaurs are thinking this is a fantastic thing, and now that they have done it, want to continue to use it. And last, as we, again, have discussed at these previous meetings, professionalism is more important than ever. And I know that I think at the second meeting, I went through the different things to be considerate to everybody. When you're attending telephonically, make sure somebody has stopped speaking before you begin speaking. Really, I understand that it's trying, but it does take patience. If everybody has a little patience, we will get through this. And, you know, it's working out very well. It really is. And so patience is the key, and we will get through this and be better in the future. For everybody out there, this is Good Friday. Happy Passover. Happy Easter. Have a good weekend and stay safe. And again, thank you all so much for putting these on. And thank you for all the judges and attorneys and everybody else who's in attendance. Again, without you guys, this would not work. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Judge Phillips. And, you know, again, with the deposition CLE coming up, do you share Judge Small's view with regards to depositions moving forward, not being delayed till, say, August, September, if they don't need to be?
I absolutely agree with Judge Small. And again, this is for my division. I don't want to speak for everybody, but as speaking with all of the judges throughout this process here in the 17th, I think we're pretty much all of the same position, that we want these cases to continue to move forward. And certainly I would hear it on a case-by-case basis if there is an objection. I had a hearing earlier this week, and the gentleman they were wanting to depose was very elderly. I believe he was in his 80s, and he wasn't familiar with the technology and didn't know how to do this and do that. And I said, you know, it depends on the situation. There are special circumstances, but certainly I can't press upon it anymore. We need to continue to move the wheels of justice forward.
Well, thank you so much for being with us and being with us on for the past 4 weeks. So your leadership is, you know, much appreciated, and thank you for helping with this.
My pleasure.
I want to now welcome Miami Administrative Circuit Court Judge Jennifer Bailey, who's joined us today. Thank you, Norman Wass, President of Miami Abota, for getting us in touch with Judge Bailey. And we would like to hear your thoughts of what's going on in the Miami courthouse.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity to be here. And I will try to avoid echoing too much what Judge Small and Judge Phillips has already said. Miami's open for business. We are holding motion calendars and special sets. We are looking to open into evidentiary hearings. There are issues because our clerks do not have technology, and at this point in time, it does not appear that the clerks will be able to participate in evidentiary hearings. So the judges in the Circuit Civil Division and I are discussing on how to proceed with judges marking evidence. And we hope that the clerk will ultimately be able to come up with some sort of technology solution that allows participation by the clerk. Our clerk is short-staffed, and so therefore right now we are trying to make sure that they at least keep up with the pleadings. They're trying to make sure that they keep up with the pleadings and the docketing so that the files are current. So we're not sure when we're going to launch into evidentiary hearings and bench trials. If you get a notice for an evidentiary hearing or a bench trial, it's because your presiding judge has determined that they are able to handle that. They either have the assistance of a clerk or have figured out a potential solution for that. So you're on, show up. We will probably in the next week be issuing an administrative memo on the procedures for evidence delivery that will require parties to upload the evidence. Probably, I don't know what the date we decided on. I think we said 5 days in advance so that everyone has the items which are going to be referred to in the hearing and has the ability to all be on the same page, for lack of a better description. But motion calendars are on. I know Judge Fine talked to me earlier this week. He did 67 hearings in a day. As is probably the case in the other jurisdictions, some of our judges are more tech savvy than other of our judges. And so the judges that are more tech savvy are fully open for business. Other judges are coming online and ramping up in a more deliberate way. But everyone in the circuit, across the circuit, is committed to staying open for business during the pandemic. Couple of other additional observations, because I echo what both administrative judges have said about setting matters, because we do have these gaps that have opened on the calendars because of the loss of jury trials. There's two reasons to do that. One is to keep things moving forward. The other thing that everybody needs to recognize is everything you delay is going to get caught up in everything everybody else delays. So when we reopen, and there will be a time when we reopen, there's going to be a backlog. So if you don't take advantage of the time now, not only will you not have the advantage of an expedited hearing, but you're going to get caught up in what is fair to assume will be a tsunami when we reopen. And that will be because in all likelihood, by every projection, the caseload is not going to look like what it looked like in February or March of this year, because the economic circumstances that our communities throughout South Florida are facing are going to cause an uptick potentially in a significant number of caseloads, foreclosures, evictions, all those things that are stayed now, collections. It's terrible to contemplate, but it's a reality that we have to plan for. And so if you think strategically, oh no, I want to have my hearing live, just recognize that if you delay it till September, you could be really delaying it until January or February, depending on what the demand is in the courts. So take advantage of this time. People are very, look, here's the reality. We all know it. Like 4 weeks ago, judges didn't even want to have telephone conferences, and lawyers were reluctant to appear by phone. And now we've, as a result of this crisis, committed to innovation at warp speed. And it's not really a choice. So we need to make the best of it. We need to embrace it. And we need to say, look, at the end of the day, we're going to be able to, and particularly an organization such as ABOTA, which is so committed to jury trials, we're going to need to pick and choose how to use this technology in the coming years, because it's not going to go away, folks. This is a sea change in how we do court. we are going to have to make the case at the end of this that there are things we can do most effectively remotely, and there are things that we still need to do most effectively live, because it's going to be really easy for people to say, well, just do court remote all the time. Issues of cost and delay pervade civil justice. There are things that we can do more cost effectively through this technology. The bottom line is what we all know, because I talked to you guys all through South Florida, what you guys will almost do anything not to come to motion calendar. That's part of what makes a BOTA great, is because you guys can have principal arguments and resolve them when you can. But nobody wants to come to motion calendar because motion calendar is not cost effective. You cannot make somebody spend an hour coming downtown, an hour and a half sitting there for 5 minutes of FaceTime with a judge, and then an hour going back. That just impedes justice. That's not access to justice. It's a barrier. We got to recognize that we can't do that to people. So there's a couple of things that are going on across divisions in Miami that I think people need to take advantage of. First of all, we're trying to encourage our judges, and some of them are doing it. Look, I can lead them to water. I can't make them drink. Setting calendars in segments or individually. So you may get a notice for a 9 o'clock motion calendar, but your Zoom invitation will say 9:20 or 9:25. That's because we're trying to break it up to try and keep people from waiting or being tied up. And the reason for that is, quite frankly, we have recognized that maybe not senior partners, but a lot of younger attorneys are dealing with a situation where they're not just coming to court. When they come to court in the old days of February, they would drop their kids off at daycare or at preschool. And now when they come to court, their child is in the next room trying to be homeschooled. So we're recognizing that lawyers are having to juggle parenting and parenting responsibilities with professional responsibilities. So we're trying to minimize the amount of time that we keep them in a Zoom waiting room or otherwise. In addition, so judges are looking at individualized meetings where they can. They're looking at segmenting the motion calendars where they can. So what that means for you is look carefully at your Zoom invitations and make sure what time you're set for. We are doing everything we can to try and minimize the stress on the users. So we're trying to be very transparent about the procedures, and judges should be updating those. And the bottom line is that, and I don't have to say it to a BOTA. I mean, let's face it, there's a reason why you're a BOTA. But the current circumstances should not be exploited for purposes of delay. It goes back to what one of my colleagues said is, this is a time for everybody to be really professional. Like I said, when we talk to a BOTA, we're preaching to the choir on that. I know that, but it's worth saying again, because there are those that will try to cause delay, make themselves unavailable, and that should be minimized as much as possible. But the bottom line is every division in Miami is open. We have been for a significant period of time accepting materials on our Court Map platform. We continue to work on Court Map. We're processing orders, and we are moving other divisions onto Court Map in response to the current circumstances. So just in the last 4 weeks, we've moved the family divisions come on, probate's on. We're bringing on the Unified Family Court and domestic violence, most of which doesn't affect folks in a BOTA, but I want everybody to know the enormity of what the 11th Circuit has taken on in its pursuit of keeping the courthouse open. And our judges have embraced it. We are training 2 sessions a day. We are having open question time every day, and we are committed to keeping the courthouse open. So I'm going to have to get off shortly because I have another Zoom meeting. But if anybody has any specific questions about Miami that you want to ask me before I go, I'm happy to take those if you want me to, Jeff.
Well, Judge Bailey, I just wanted to ask you, and I think I know the answer, the same question I asked to Judge Small and Judge Phillips about depositions, considering this is a CLE on depositions.
Oh, yeah. Go. Have at it. The challenge for depositions is going to be this. And like I said, this is a BOTA, so I kind of feel like I don't need to tell you all this, but the truth of the matter is the day where you can be in a live deposition and you can whip out the secret piece of paper and confront somebody, that's not going to work in a digital environment. So, because you're going to have to exchange the exhibits in advance for them to be able to be effectively shared generally. You can do it if you set up, because you can do share screen, you can share the documents through a number of methodologies, but that's going to be a little trickier. So, we are encouraging everybody to simply say, look, if what we're after is the facts here, just exchange the exhibits and have the deposition, pre-mark them, so everybody's referring to the same thing and you don't have the usual round robins that we sometimes had in the old days of, say, February on telephone depositions. But definitely take the depositions, get your cases ready, file your motions, schedule your hearings. If the judge isn't taking certain types of hearings, the judge is going to not accept those as special sets and send those back. So live your lives as though we were working full time, with the exception of can't do jury trials. As I think Judge Small said, you can notice them. I'm going to tell you in Miami, I don't expect that we will set those. And the reason why I don't expect that we will set those, although presiding judges will be able to make that decision on their own, is because it seems a little premature at this point in time to be imposing pretrial deadlines when live appearance is on hold. And then there's the fundamental action that I encourage everybody on this call and throughout a BOTA to think about, which is, what's the transition back? I mean, if you look at, somebody asked me yesterday that was writing an op-ed for the Herald and was saying, what do you think about this? And he and I had a long conversation, and he said to me, so look, come August, there's not going to be a vaccine. Are you going to put your kid on a school bus? Are you going to show up for jury duty? There's going to be a time at which we say we're back open, but announcing we're back open and being back open in a really functional way are going to be two very different things. And the post-pandemic transition and recovery is going to be really challenging for society, for our communities, and for the court system, because we're going to face this caseload that's going to be further amplified by the economic consequences of this event. So we really need to think about where do we want to be at the end of this? What have we learned from what we're doing now that tells us it's effective for the remote is effective for this, it's not effective for this. About I'm sure we all say should never replace jury trial. But I think we need to start thinking about what's the reality of what this comes back. Everybody keeps asking me, when's this going to be over? And I don't know. They said Easter. It's not going to be over in Easter. But when it's over, all we will have done, the over we're shooting for now is flattening the curve. We're just trying to prevent people from swamping ERs. Over for the pandemic is probably 12 to 18 months away. It's going to be dependent on a vaccine. And so the truth of the matter is the degree to which people are willing to go out in public and engage in their civic duties, that's going to be significantly affected by where we are. So we need to be thinking about that long term, and a discussion needs to be had with your clients. We need to think about on the court side how we're going to manage the backlog of jury trials when we get there. It's a challenging time. Getting up was job one. It's so exciting to hear of judges all over the country and judges in South Florida and what an incredible job they've done. I mean, people that wouldn't even read emails are now on Zoom. It's hard to believe, but I'm really grateful for their efforts. But the truth of the matter is we have to think about what this looks like in 2 months, in 3 months, in 5 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, and in 2 years from now, because the court systems are still going to be feeling this in 2 years. So thank you. I have to go to my other Zoom meeting. Thanks for the opportunity to be on.
Thank you so much to all the judges who were on this Zoom conference, and especially to Judge Small, Judge Phillips, and Judge Bailey for joining us, to have tri-county representation here is pretty special, and I hope we can do it again.